Hello, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to log into Renzulli Learning and how to set up students in our Renzulli Learning rosters. So the first thing you need to do is go to renzullilearning.com and you need to log in using your login information. If you have lost or forgotten your login information, you should be able to get it from your Spectrum collaborator in your school, or you can email Christopher Pinley and I can pull that information for you. And the second thing we want to make sure is that this drop-down box is set to teacher. You do have the ability to log in as a student in case you want to see what they see. But for our purposes today, we're going to log in as a teacher. And this will bring you right to your dashboard. The first thing I want to point out about the dashboard is that over here, this box shows us the featured activity. This is where Renzulli Learning posts kind of the coolest stuff that they find out on the internet. And so I usually like to check that really quickly just to see what it is. Sometimes it's a good enrichment opportunity that you can shoot out to your students. We're not going to look at that today, though. What we want to do is we want to come up here to My Students. And this is your student roster, and what you might notice right now is that you have maybe some old students, or maybe someone else in your building has associated some students to you that you're not aware of why they're there. And so what we want to do is we want to manage this roster by coming up here to Manage Students. Now, all of this registering information right here is for actually adding students to the system. You shouldn't need to do any of that. All of that is done at a county level where we register all of our students in big batches. And so what you want to do is update your own student roster, which is this menu over here on the left. Now, first of all, if you had a bunch of students in your roster that you don't really need and you want to get rid of them, you can hit this button called Clear All, and it will get rid of everybody in your roster. But if you don't need to do that and you just want to add some students, you can either come down through this list and hunt and peck and find each individual student that you want to add to your roster, or you can use these drop-down menus up here to sort. Since I have all of the students in the county here, I'm going to sort by grade and by school. I'm going to pretend like I'm a 5th grade Spectrum collaborator at, how about Alps Road Elementary? And so I'm just going to filter so that I'm only seeing 5th graders at Alps. Now, as a Spectrum collaborator, I can go down through here and I can choose our identified gifted students if I'd like, or I can check all so that I've got all of these students in my roster and I can shoot out assignments to all of them as part of my collaboration. And I'm going to click Submit. And now I notice I've got my student roster back up here. There's lots of things I can do from this point. I can click on any individual name and see all of their registration information. And I can edit that registration information if I need to. Oops. Go back to my roster here. I can also see where they are on creating their profile, and so I notice that this student has a profile, but it was completed in 2009. It's a Clark Central student, though. I do have this student that created their profile in 2008, and so I might want them to go back and redo the profiler so I can get more current information. I can also see that we have a couple of students here that haven't started, and so it might be that I want to try and get them through the profile, or I can click on somebody's profile if I want to learn a little bit more about that student. So that tells you how to add students to your roster. In our next tutorial, we'll learn how to take these students and break them up into groups so that I can shoot out individual assignments to individual groups. Thanks.